Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms here in the mountains of North Carolina, and today I've got something very unusual to share with you. In fact, it's so unusual, it's probably the only one of its kind, and it's for sale. So you can get in touch with me if you decide you want this thing. This is, or was, originally a 1995 Tomos TTLX Targa, or Tomos Targa, and I bought this in about 1999 or 2000, somewhere right around there, right at the turn of the century. Drove it until about 2007. And the little oil injector pump that's on the side of this thing failed, and it destroyed the original engine. So rather than just put a new cylinder on it, I decided to go ahead and do kind of a restoration and modify this, make it into the ultimate moped, so to speak, at least my version of the ultimate moped. So here's what I came up with. I was able to track down one of the last A35 crate motors right then about, I think I got that in 2010 is when I finally found that engine. Got that engine and also upgraded it to this bi-turbo exhaust system and upjetted the carb so it would run right, and gets about an extra 4 to 5 miles an hour out of that, so that's kind of cool. Now, as you can see, this isn't a stock color, the seat's different, so I'm going to go over all the modifications I made to it. I tore this thing down, every last nut and bolt came off of it, suspension was apart, engine was off, everything was off of this. So I took it apart and decided to go with this kind of satin olive drab finish. There's the wind, of course, so anyway, I hope you can hear it. If not, I'll just re-edit this thing. But anyway, did that, replaced both the front and rear tires, put new tubes in, replaced the front brakes, replaced the brake cables. So a lot of work put into the restoration part of it. New lines for the fuel, carburetors rebuilt and upjetted, new handle bar grips there, you can see, and we'll get closer in here as I go around. But where it really changed was I wanted to be able to go camping in this thing, and I did go camping in this thing quite a bit. So I made the seat a whole lot more comfortable. I upsized that seat, put extra padding in, and then reupholstered it. And as you can see, it's got this back on it like a Harley would. So that was actually why I called it the Road King, because you could lean back and stretch out on this thing and just enjoy the ride, man, when you take long trips. And I took this thing on several trips that exceeded 100 miles, where you had to go and find a gas station and fill it up and mix some new oil. Rear lights are all working. Like I said, new rear tire, new tubes. Those little cargo frames there, those came off of, I think it was off of Peugeot, and I cut them and modified them to work on the Tomos. But that gave me a whole lot of storage space to throw stuff on there. And then that rear shelf there. Also, I used to have an ammo can. Actually, I think it was 2 side-by-side ammo cans on there. I don't know what happened to those. Probably got used for some other project. But between all that, you had quite a bit of storage space. And on the front, I also had a bag that went on the front that hung off the front forks. In fact, I do still have that. And I'll include that in the sale if anyone's interested in it. But here it is on this side. You can see right there. That's where the oil injector pump would normally go. And again, it's been removed. So I do have a little bit of extra secret storage space right underneath the driver's seat, or the only seat as it is. But the shocks were replaced. God, just the list goes on and on and on. New chain, new speedometer cable. Man, it's just a beauty. So unfortunately, from storage, when I moved up here to the mountains about 5 years ago, putting it in storage, things got knocked against it. So you can see both the front turn signals are busted. They can be glued back on or taped back on, but they are kind of messed up. But I'll go ahead and come back over here and get a little closer. A little scuff damage to the paint on this side. Nothing terrible, but just be aware of that. Here's the dash. Showing 6,338 miles since the restoration. Now I have re-ringed the engine. In fact, I have got a Tomos, not a Tomos, but a, oh gosh, what's the name of that thing? Airsaw, I think it is. 70cc kit that I purchased for this thing right before I moved up here and never installed it. Still runs great. You know, I've decarboned the engine several times over the years, and it'll run about 40 in the flats. The problem is up here in the mountains, it'll run 40 in the flats. It'll do about 5 up the hill. So, especially with my big butt on there, but it's pretty nice. Now I also do have the original TT, or let's see, there was the Golden Bullet side panels that go on there. I've got those. Never painted those. They go in the original spots over here on the sides if you want that look. But yeah, this was a passion of mine, making this thing. This was something that I dreamed someday maybe I'd even take it all the way across country. There are a few guys that own mopeds that have done that, and what an adventure. Obviously, you really get to be a part of the surroundings when you're only doing 30, 35 miles an hour, and you know, just camping out and doing cool stuff like that. I always dreamed of that, but you know, life moves on, and this project, unfortunately, moved on to its inevitable conclusion. It's time to say goodbye to it. Find myself in need of some money for some new projects, and this is finally coming out of storage to go. Now, I'll show you all a video of it running here, and I'm not going to drive it because, like I said, there's no flat area where I live, so there's not really any place I can take it that would really show it off, but it runs and drives just like any Tomos should. Now, here's some pictures of all the spare parts that I do have for it. There's the 70cc kit and extra carb, and there's some jets in there, and nuts and bolts and screws and coils, and gosh, you name it. There's all kinds of leftovers from when I did the restoration, because I originally had 2 of these. You know, I picked up one that had another blown engine for parts. So overall, though, it's a great bike, and I'm hoping it'll go to a good home. Eventually, I'm going to list it on eBay. But if there's somebody out there that wants to take a trip to Farpoint Farms and buy this thing off of me, let me know. I don't know what they're worth. I know what I've got in it, and it's a lot. Probably more than what they cost new in '95 at this point. But you know, make me an offer. Let's talk. Maybe have something I'm interested in. Who knows? I'll leave it at that. Here's a few more pictures of the parts that I have available for it. And that's it. Take care.
There's always something that needs a little fixing on Farpoint Farms. Freedom is mighty sweet, liberty sows its